Are you guys ready to get radical? God, what have I become? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Golden Bolt. As always, my name's K-Dog. If you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, what the hell is this guy reviewing now? And I am too, don't worry. See, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at a gaming convention with a couple of my buddies. It's called Too Many Games. It's in the greater Philadelphia area, and we went last year and we went back this year, and it was a lot of fun. But this year, we had the idea of having them recommend games for me to review. Any game they could find, they could buy it and make me review it. So, on top of that, at Too Many Games, I spoke with a couple of YouTubers that had personally inspired my channel and my channel format and stuff like that, and they recommended games for me to review as well. There are, I believe, 11 in total, and we're just gonna pick them randomly and keep going as we go. I'm gonna do other reviews every now and then interspersed, just because I have a couple games I want to tackle. And if you guys have any suggestions and I have the game, I'll review those too. So, as always, leave suggestions in the comments. But for now, we're tackling REALLYCOOL Freestyle Scooter on the PS1, and
a crazed robot kidnapped a bunch of kids, and now we've got to save them by riding around on official REALLYCOOL brand scooters. You can choose from a wacky cast of characters. There's Chad, who has a broken arm because he's radical. There's Amy, there's Daryl, there's Hector, there's Brittany, there's a sock monkey, there's Norton the crazed robot, there's Tito Ortiz.
nope.
Okay, so REALLYCOOL Scooter is Tony Hawk. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. If you've ever played a Tony Hawk game, you've played this. You press X to jump, you hold down triangle to grind and balance on rails using the D-pad, square and circle are tricks, so on and so forth. That's it, really. Surprisingly, this game isn't that bad. I'm already not a fan of Tony Hawk games, so I was expecting that, but a lot worse. But it functions. The grinding actually feels a little intuitive once you're used to holding down the grind button, and the tricks are normally responsive, although I did have a bunch of times where the game just sort of decided to do a different trick, causing me to wipe out, but whatever. Unlike Tony Hawk though, there's no experience bar for each character. In Tony Hawk, you could normally keep yourself interested in the gameplay because as you played, you'd level up and improve your skills. It gave you reason to go back and restart as different characters. Here, there's none of that. Characters are nothing more than just different costumes, and that really hurts the replay a bit. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about Tito Ortiz for a moment here. Why is there a UFC fighter in a game about toy scooters? And better yet, why is he a child? Who gives a child tattoos? That's literally illegal. I mean, I guess it's Tito Ortiz, so even as a child, he'd probably kick my ass if I said no to giving him tattoos. These two things aren't even related. Whatever. Anyway, going back to replayability, the game is not that great on this front, even by its own merit. There aren't that many levels to choose from. In fact, you only start with 3. There's a generic skate park, there's a school, and there's a clock tower. Hold the phone, who let these kids onto the roof of a clock tower? Actually, now that I think about it, why are these kids not wearing helmets? That's incredibly bad branding by REALLYCOOL not to have any of the kids wearing safety gear. In each level, there are a handful of objectives for the player to try and conquer, just like in Tony Hawk. There are 2 for reaching certain scores, 1 for grinding a certain distance, 1 for getting a high combo score, and 2 special ones. One of these special ones is to max out your multiplier a certain number of times. If you look on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see this multiplier meter that goes up by doing enough unique tricks. Every time you top it off, you'll get 10 bonus seconds to keep racking up score. The final objective is to collect all 30 floating scooter wheels in each level. This can get surprisingly tricky since you only have about 2 minutes per run. You can't really rely on the bonus timer because you need to focus entirely on getting the wheels. In my experience, this challenge normally took 1 or 2 extra tries. That's normally because there's an inconsistency in the game mechanics and because the camera is consistently pretty bad. It is a PS1 game after all. You'll probably screw your jumps up at some point because of one of these 2 things, and one mistake can screw up your entire run here. When you complete a certain number of objectives, you'll unlock the next Sky Fortress 1? There are multiple Sky Fortresses? What kind of scooter game is this exactly? Whatever, let's just check it out. Oh, these is challenge levels. On the back cover of the game, it's advertised that there are 6 bonus levels. I assumed they'd be actual levels, but nope. Instead, we've got these one-off challenge levels where you collect all the wheels to save one of your friends, or Tito Ortiz, from Norton the Crazed Robot. Even better, 3 of these levels are exactly the same. I can't make this stuff up, guys. The only key difference is that 2 of them have different floor panels that'll fall away if you touch them, which adds a little bit of challenge, I guess, but they're still, the same exact level design. Holy crap, these are high up. How are these kids even getting enough oxygen up here? Jesus Christ, that death scream is brutal. Great job, but unless you collect them all, you will never win your friends free from Norton's steely grasp. Well, that's a very passive-aggressive remark. You did good, but you still suck, kid. You think this is some kind of f***ing game? Your friends are gonna die, and it's all your fault. You're gonna lay awake late at night with tears in your eyes thinking back on this day, where you just weren't good enough. You can still hear your friends and Tito Ortiz screaming in pain as Norton killed each and every one of them. You weren't radical enough, and now you're just a shell of your former self. The kids at school make fun of you all the time, and you just don't smile at anything anymore. Your teachers and your counselors keep trying to get through to you, but you keep getting C's in all your classes because you just can't focus on your schoolwork. Your scooter is collecting dust in the garage. Dad left, and Mom blames you, Chad! So yeah, that's about it for the gameplay. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's definitely Tony Hawk Light, and I already don't like Tony Hawk that much. If the game had more levels, it could actually have turned out pretty decently, but considering you can effectively beat it in like 20 minutes, I can at the very best give the game a bronze bolt here. This game looks like crap sometimes, let me tell you. The character models, even though they're kids, look way too big for that scooter, and even for a PS1 game, the whole game just looks bad to me. The textures are all really flat and they warp a little bit as you get closer, which looks really funny at times for some reason. There are moments that look surprisingly good though, like the animation when you land on the back wheel of your scooter and your character turns smoothly to keep the momentum going. That one's just really satisfying. And to give the game some credit, the colors pop really nicely here sometimes. The music though is low-key the best part about this game for all the worst reasons. You know how in the 90s there was a lot of focus on punk music? Well, this game kind of has like Nickelodeon punk, where the music is clearly inspired by the genre, but the lyrics just sound like they're made entirely for children. There are about 7 or 8 songs in the game from such hit bands as the Sloppy Meat Eaters and Sick Shift. I swear though, I only hear like 3 of the songs ever play. If you're interested, just go ahead and look up the soundtrack. Some of it is hilarious. I'll give you a teensy little taste right here. The presentation is going to get a bronze bolt here too, and it's only really getting that because of how funny the music is. Otherwise, it's just a somewhat ugly, forgettable looking game. REALLYCOOL Scooter is like $2 nowadays, so if you like Tony Hawk styled games, it'll be worth that at least. Like I said though, the game should only keep your interest for an hour at most. If someone like me, who doesn't play this style of game at all, can get through it in about half an hour, that's probably the most you'll get out of it too. If you're not a fan of Tony Hawk games, this isn't for you. There's just not enough here for me to recommend it to anybody else unless they're looking for a quick little game to make fun of for a little while. It's not particularly bad as a game, like I said earlier, and in fact it's actually kind of decent, but when decent only lasts as long as an episode of Rocket Power, if you're looking for radical, you might be better off just watching Rocket Power. Alright guys, that's it for REALLYCOOL Freestyle Scooter, and I am done being radical for a little while. Next week we are tackling Civil War, A Nation Divided on the PS2. You ever want a first-person shooter about the Civil War? I didn't.